I feel like these travel routers have gotten super popular over the last few years, and that's for a good reason. They provide a way to create a secure connection to the internet and local devices no matter if you're on the road or in a hotel, and can even utilize your cell phone as an internet source. And probably everyone's favorite feature is that they have a built-in VPN that allows you to tunnel out through your VPN of choice or remote back into your VPN server at home. This is the TP-Link TLWR3600 does all that and more, and I'm going to show you some actual real-world use cases for how to get the most out of this travel router. Now, before we dive in, let's disclose that this video is sponsored by TP-Link, but I have tested and used this device to ensure that their claims are valid. So if you're seeing this video, they are. So let's get the specs out of the way before we show our first use case. This guy is a portable network powerhouse that has 2.5 gig WAN, gigabit LAN, dual band Wi-Fi 7 with MLO, and a USB port for external storage, and is powered by USB-C, meaning that you can power it from a power bank. And since it's a travel router, it's pretty small. Depending on your fashion sense, you could say that it's pocket-sized. As for build quality, it feels solid. It feels like a router. I don't know. For a $120 device, it's fine. I'd say at some level, the hardware in a device like this is much less important than the software, right? Luckily, the software is jam-packed with features, as you'll see throughout this video. The first thing I did was run through the setup process, which was pretty straightforward. You set the mode you want the device to run in, configure the Wi-Fi name and password, and if you want some remote access features, you can sign in with your TP-Link account, but this isn't required. That's basically all the setup you need. So let's dive into our first use case, and that is using this device to provide a reliable network setup in a car or an RV. So the first thing we'll need to do is utilize this USB port to get access to the internet, and this could be through a USB hotspot, or more likely your cell phone, and use tethering. Now I know a lot of you people are thinking, why would you need this in your car or RV? Well, you may not need it, but a lot of people actually do. If you're just using a single device like a laptop, then sure, you could just use the hotspot on your phone. But what if you have multiple devices or multiple people? And what if you want all those devices talking to each other? Well, that's where the TP-Link travel router comes in handy. It also just has a better Wi-Fi connection because it's Wi-Fi 7 and has MLO, and it even has its own dedicated MLO SSID, which is pretty convenient. If you don't know what MLO is, it's basically a newer technology that instead of picking a 2.4, 5, or 6 gigahertz band, it actually takes all of them, puts them together, and lets you use all of them at the same time, so giving you more speed and just a better connection. At this point in time, it's not wildly supported on all client devices, so just make sure your device supports it before trying to use it here. Yeah, how about we actually plug this in? So aside from just providing a better network experience for everybody, I do want to talk on one other feature that would be useful in this use case, and that is one of the VPN features. Specifically running this as a VPN server. You're probably thinking, why would you even need that? Well, some people who like to self-host live on the road, and they want to still be able to self-host no matter where they're at. So if you have a server in your RV running Plex or some kind of photo storage, then maybe you want your friends and family to be able to access it. Well, we can set up a VPN server of the OpenVPN, WireGuard, PPTP, or IPsec flavor. I typically use OpenVPN, which lets you generate a file, and you can use that on any client device that you want to be able to connect back into your network. This means it's pretty easy to just generate that file and share it with whoever you want to be able to connect back into your server to utilize that Plex instance or maybe image. Check out that video if you haven't seen it. It's a pretty underrated feature to be able to continue to self-host no matter where you're at in the world. Like, I can't stress how awesome this is for people with limited space to be able to just plug in a mini PC and be able to self-host no matter where they're at in the world, and even continue to work while on the road. But let's say you travel a lot and find yourself staying at hotels or Airbnbs and don't want to rely on your mobile data plan. Well, luckily enough, you can just plug the RJ45 port from your hotel directly into your travel router, like so, and use the hotel as your WAN, but with your own private connection. But that would be a pretty boring setup. So let's just say that your hotel doesn't have RJ45, and I guess you're out of luck at this point, right? Wrong. There's a connection type here called hotspot, which lets you take the hotel Wi-Fi and use that as your WAN. Now, you see where I'm going with this. We're taking the hotel's Wi-Fi and using that as our WAN and then pushing everything downstream from there to be contained within our own private network. And all of our settings still work, like VPNs, static IPs, and all of our security settings. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. A lot of public Wi-Fis, especially hotels, have captive portals. Well, guess what? That doesn't matter. The TP-Link travel router can handle that just fine. And that's the cool thing about this little device, is that you can take it with you and it doesn't matter what external network conditions are. Everything will just kind of work. Okay, one cool feature that I forgot to mention on a similar topic is, you know how when you go to some hotels, or commonly like on a cruise, and you have to pay for internet per device? Well, what if you have a laptop and a phone and a work laptop and your spouse is with you and they have devices and your kids? You don't want to pay for all those. Well, guess what? You can just buy the internet plan on the TP-Link travel router and then connect with all your other devices through that. So you only have to pay one time and you can connect as many devices as you want. It's extremely useful, saving you tons of money. And especially when traveling or on the move, you're gonna want a VPN for traveling or remote work reasons. You can set up a VPN client on here to have specific traffic push through a VPN like Surfshark, NordVPN, or whatever you use. Personally, I'm a PIA fanboy. In VPN merge, you can actually do something super cool. If you have multiple VPNs that you want to use, you can set them all up in here. Like if you use PIA for normal web surfing and to watch different Netflix shows, you can use that with your personal devices. But if you have a home VPN setup that you use for your work laptop to make it look like you're still connecting from home, then you can set that device up to use that one. I don't think I've ever seen this specific feature implemented so well, and it's actually pretty awesome. So picture this, you're on the move for a trip, you arrive to your destination, and you plug your travel router into the hotel internet. You've set up all your VPN settings, so without any configuration at all, your work machine is connecting back home, your personal devices are going through PIA, and your little travel server is locally accessible. And all of this with zero additional subscription fees. Pretty freaking sweet, right? The last one I want to talk about is just using it at home. And while this isn't really designed to be a home router, nothing is stopping you from using it as your gateway and having a switch downstream to the rest of your devices. The big feature that this brings is the ability to have multiple WANs where your regular ISP is your main and your backup can just be your phone. So if your internet goes down, just plug in your phone and use that as the backup and your entire network is back in business. No extra configuration required. And if you do decide to use this as a home network, you still get some solid creature comforts like port forwarding, custom DHCP, dynamic DNS, parental controls, and even a guest network. I don't think I'd recommend running this as your main home router, but hey, you do you, I won't judge. Either way, TP-Link has a cool little device here packed with features that are actually usable, and if you want one, check out my link down below for $10 off. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments, but that's all I have for this one. If you liked it, then drop a like and subscribe if you want to see more. I want to give a huge shout out to my YouTube members and my Patreons. You guys are my tiny travel router with Wi-Fi 7 that can fit in my pocket, my back pocket. Y'all are kinky. And if you're still watching, you're a dual band. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.